Cao Cao himself is a commander, and they excel at buffing up nearby allied troops, rather than wading into combat themselves. So we won't be seeing him being the first through the breach. He's too valuable for that. We will instead be pushing up the Yellow Dragons. They are being supported by the Azure Dragons, a hybrid heavy spear and missile infantry unit. They will first hold back and fire over the walls with their bows, and once they've spent all their ammunition, they will join in on the front line. Let's move our heavy spears forward to climb the walls. Now is the time to press the attack, getting the Azure Dragons firing, and now charging forwards with the Yellow Dragons.
Is there a heart beating in that spineless body? Is there a brain inside that cavernous head?
These heavy-hitting axe units are a formidable foe for anyone they go up against. They will make very short work of these spears. Let's check up on the center attack. The settlement is now on fire from the barrage of arrows, and our men are getting over the walls and getting stuck into the enemy.
Yes! Back them!
Now it's getting fun.
One of us is down!
Feel my mind filling you. You will obey me now.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Little help!
An icon will fall.
picking the right agents for each mission is critical. If your agent's known to the enemy, it'll be an uphill battle from the start. And it's usually a good idea to send in someone who can speak the local language. The right tools make short work of any job. Silenced weapons are your best friends. Deadly quiet and they can take out your targets from a distance. Get your foot in the door with a handy lockpick. And if the bullets start flying, it's good to have friends who can cover your men from enemy fire. Knowing is half the battle. Cliché, I know. But in this line of work, it can hardly be more relevant. Informers, tapping comms, infiltration of enemy facilities. It'll give you an idea of what to expect. But not all of your intel is complete. You'll have to piece it together from bits collected across missions. Everything is connected. Sometimes, it's best to go straight to the source. Eliminating enemy assets is good. Using them for your own ends is better. Beholder scientists perfected mind control technology. They won't ask your permission to use it on your agents. So it's fair game to do the same to their people. And if you want to get out of this alive, you'll also have to keep up with the conspiracy tech. They have all the shiniest toys. Their gadgets may blow up in your face, but nothing beats an armored helicopter getting you out of a tight spot. When you've pinpointed an enemy operation, use all that prep work to stop it in its tracks. Scout ahead. Support your ground team. Plant sleepers and moles. Make no mistake, they still have unlimited resources at their disposal, and they won't hesitate to use them. You must be quick and deadly, and vanish before they know what hit them. Good luck, Agent.
of the game. And apparently the first game we have made, where a post from a forum member is quoted on the top of our game design. So basically, there was a thread on the Paradox forums back in 2015, of all places, where basically somebody said, what does my perfect Rome game look like? And apparently this particular quote has kind of been the core sentiment for what is, well, Imperator Rome. And that is, and this is verbatim, the balance between Crusader Kings 2 and Europa Universalis 4/Victoria 2 should remain in Rome 2. Rome was a fantastic mix between Crusader Kings 1, character-wise, Europa Universalis 3, diplomacy and war, and Victoria, parties, province systems, and population dynamics, and its own features like barbaric migration and some of the best civil war systems in a Paradox game. And once again, this was posted by Leon Aditsu back in 2015. A very interesting idea that a quote like this bears so much on the actual design of the game, or at least one of the cornerstones of the design theory here. So yeah, another note that this person also said, the features that a Rome 2 should take from other Paradox games: character development from Crusader Kings 2, diplomacy and trade of Europa Universalis 4, populations and goods from Victoria 2, technological development from Hearts of Iron 4, March of the Eagles military system, and the Civil War slave system and Republic system from Rome 1. And apparently we needed more of Eurasia, more nations in Europe, and a better trade system, a real Roman Republic. And apparently this is pretty much what we are going to get. However, Johan has mentioned that a couple things are not going to be in Imperator Rome. There are going to be no envoy characters, and apparently a lot of people were using it to get rid of people. So kind of similar in Crusader Kings 2, where you have a counselor. That was definitely a thing there as well. Omens and religious prestige is apparently not very fun and has been changed, not mentioned whether or not it has been removed or not. And trade was apparently a lot of micromanagement, and this is being reworked for a far more interesting and fun mechanic. Definitely trade is something that I am particularly keen on, because trade is always good fun in these sort of games. Now, like I mentioned, the vision from before, we wanted to stay true to this vision while implementing the knowledge that we've learned in the last decade of making games with better UX and player agency, as in UX, that's like things like UI and anything that involves the interface. And in addition, they want to make this the ultimate grand strategy game. And that right there, well, let's put it this way. Once Dev Diary 50 comes around, or 60, or whenever launch is, we're going to come back to this and see whether or not we agree on the idea of this being the ultimate grand strategy game. And finally, here's a little look at Iberia. Now, Iberia by itself looks kind of interesting, to be honest. There's a lot of Carthage, but what is actually very interesting, to me at least, if you look away from Hispania, or Iberia, and go back towards the Italian peninsula, we have a boy, but also in 450, not only are the Etruscans still here, which is totally understandable, the Sabines are still here as well, and that right there is generally a good indication of where things go. Sabines obviously being relatively legendary under at least Roman mythology. Not so much mythology, obviously it did happen in a certain way, and whether or not things happened in the way they said it happened is a little bit so-so, but there are probably certain subjects that the guys from Paradox don't want to touch, some of which do involve the Sabines, and I highly recommend for you to go and read an article or two about that, because A, it's fascinating, and B, I have no idea how they're going to put that in the game. Apparently next week we're going to be taking a look at the map a little bit deeper, the cities and provinces of the Empire and all the other nations around it. Thank you so much for watching. This was the very first Dev Diary for Imperator Rome, and well, stick around. Give it a subscribe. Give it a like. Hey, maybe you didn't like it. There's a dislike button there as well. So, yeah, we're going to be doing this every single week, every single Monday. We're going to have a Dev Diary about Rome, or at least Imperator. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take a good care of yourselves. As always, each other.